Let's talk family on today's episode of the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. Could the Ravens be looking to trade for Ed Reed's cousin? The safety did pretty well in Baltimore. Are we going to keep it in the family bloodlines? Could they be adding a new safety very soon? We'll talk about that on today's show. Get you familiar with the other safety in the Reed family. Before that, though, make sure you guys like today's video because we're tracking likes in May. And so far, the Pittsburgh Steelers, unfortunately, are beating us by about 407. We got to start somewhere. We got to start the push somewhere. So why not here? If you guys have not yet, go ahead and like today's video. Hit that thumbs up button. It's free, it's easy to do, and it helps us beat the Steelers. So the question on today's episode is, could the Ravens make a trade for Ed Reed's cousin? But the question we have to answer before we ask that question is, why would Baltimore even want to trade for safety? Well, it's because this guy right here, Darius Washington, had the unfortunate circumstance last week, May 13th, where he tore his Achilles. MRI has confirmed it was during conditioning. And if you know anything about this Baltimore Ravens team, Darius Washington was going to serve a massive purpose this next season because with the addition of Malaki Starks, he allowed Kyle Hamilton to kind of be able to be used as a chess piece to put wherever Zach Orr wanted him to be. Well, if Darius Washington isn't going to play, possibly they go to a young guy who could still give you that ability and also has the upside of being a cousin of a Ravens legend. I'm talking about Trey Taylor. The safety with the Las Vegas Raiders was drafted in the 7th round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Unfortunately, last season, you didn't get to see much of him, mainly just on special teams. He was on injured reserve from the beginning of the season until October 12th. Played sparingly, but the guy has a ton of pedigree and also a ton to go off of from his time in college. Taylor and Ed Reed are cousins through marriage, although their relationship has lasted for very, very long because Trey Taylor's dad and Ed's Reed dad are very, very good friends. He was a Jim Thorpe Award winner in 2024, which was awarded to the best defensive back in all of college football, and he was the 7th round pick by the Las Vegas Raiders in 2024. However, the thing about Trey Taylor that I love is he's still in direct contact with Ed Reed. This isn't just one of those situations where they're cousins that you kind of avoid when you go to the grocery store. I think we all have those people in our family. No. Trey Taylor goes to him for advice, learns a lot from him. He had talk about Ed Reed saying this. I could call him and talk about anything football-wise. He gives me all types of input when it comes down to postgame. We'll sit and talk for 30 minutes to an hour about just small things going on. What he saw in the game, what I can fix, things that he did in his game that I can put into mine, and just to create a little bit bigger toolbox for me. How he read things with the quarterback. How he reads things with the receivers, how he reads things with the linemen. And what I love about Trey Taylor and what we were able to see with him in his college game and his time in Air Force is it seems Reed's best qualities when it came to baiting quarterbacks, being a ball hawk, making unbelievable plays in the defensive backfield. I feel like Trey Taylor has all those best qualities as well. Here's what he had to say about his qualities and Ed Reed's. If you look at the 2 interceptions I had my junior year, both those were literally just baiting. I was just sitting back, scooching back, not even really backpedaling. I was trying to make enough room between me and the wide receiver for the quarterback to feel comfortable to throw the ball. And as soon as I saw any motion with throwing, I broke as fast as I could. Stop me if that sounds familiar. He had a really great career at the University of Air Force, or the Air Force Academy, I should say. 74 tackles his senior year, 69 and 62 the 2 years prior. Over 13 pass breakups, over 6 interceptions in his career, 7 tackles for loss. This dude was really effective, and I think if he lands in the right spot, he could be a really good pro. Make the call for me down in the comments section. Should the Ravens trade for Trey Taylor? Should he be that Darius Washington replacement? If you think so, go ahead and give me a yes in the comment section down below. And if you don't think so, go ahead and give me a no. So when it comes to trades, obviously it takes 2 teams to tango. Las Vegas would have to be willing to part from Taylor as well as Baltimore would have to want to add him. So why would Las Vegas trade Trey Taylor. There we go. Well, he was drafted by a pass regime, and if you know anything about Las Vegas over this offseason, they've added a new general manager, they've added a new head coach, they basically added a new everything. Las Vegas signed Jeremy Chin in free agency, they signed Lonnie Johnson Jr., and they signed Jonathan Sutherland after minicamp, which means they've added a ton of safeties in the offseason. So when there's a lot of people in that room, I feel like they'd be easily, willing to put one on that trade block. But like I said off the top, it takes two to tango. So Las Vegas can't be the only one willing to trade. Baltimore has to be willing to trade for him. And would they be willing to do so? We got to talk about Ardarius Washington when we talk about this question, because this sucks for the defensive back room with Ardarius Washington being out, because it is as it stands currently. Kyle Hamilton, the free safety spot. Malaki Starks in the strong safety spot. The cornerbacks on the outside go Nate Wiggins and Chidobe Awuzie, and Marlon Humphrey's back on the inside in that nickel back position. However, if you get another safety in that room that you feel good and feel confident about, then you can move Marlon to the outside, Kyle Hamilton back down to the nickel into the slot, and put, Nate Wiggins and Marlon on the outside together, and that safety with Malaki Starks at the safety spot. And so adding in a defensive back that you do feel like is at least as good as Ardarius Washington and could give you as much time would be really beneficial to Zach Orr in this Ravens defense. Let's talk about, though, why they might not trade for Trey Taylor first, okay? There might just be some stronger players in free agency currently. Now, unfortunately, stronger players in free agency mean a little bit more cheddar, but you got to talk about a guy like Justin Simmons. Career took a little bit of a step back last year with Atlanta, but I think part of that is because Atlanta's pass rush was just so darn awful. 62 tackles, 2 tackles lost, 6 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. Not quite the ball hawk that we got used to seeing in Denver. And if you look at the 3 seasons prior in Mile High City, 12 pass breakups, 7 pass breakups, 8 pass breakups, combined with 5, 6, and 3 different interceptions. This dude was all over the football. It was unbelievable. And I think he'd be a pretty decent option, as well as Julian Blackmon. Those are 2 guys who I think could come in to this defensive back room, into the safety room, and just kind of without hesitation, without skipping a beat, be some kind of replacement for Ardarius Washington. Now, Julian Blackmon did not have the best year in coverage, allowed 374 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did get 3 picks as well. That quarterback rating is a tad bit high, but still, regardless of what you saw from him last year, you've seen a good bit from him in his career just in general, that I think he could be a great Ardarius Washington replacement. So pick one of those 2 to sign, Justin Simmons or Julian Blackmon. If you're not trading for Trey Taylor, which of those 2 guys are you signing in free agency? Let's talk about a guy that you don't have to worry about in the safety room. We hope. Let's talk about Malaki Starks, as my wedding ring flies off my hand. You can get his jersey right here at chatsports.com/Starks. It's not going to have the 1. It's going to have his number 24. But I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great investment. This dude is going to be here for a long time, meaning if you don't fluctuate in sizes, you're going to have this jersey for a long time as well. Chatsports.com/Starks is where you need to go. You can find it in purple. You can find it in black. You can find it in white. Any size, any color, all right there at Fanatics. So chatsports.com/Starks, again, is where you got to go. That link's in the comments and description of today's video. Another reason you might not trade for Trey Taylor, you kind of maybe feel like you already have the horses in the stable with Bo Braid, with Sanusi Kane. There might be a reason that Baltimore hasn't done anything yet. This injury happened a week ago. Now, I'm not saying that that's meaning that they haven't done anything last week means they won't. But if they were really desperate, maybe you would think that they would have already. But having Bo Braid and having Sanusi Kane, 2 guys who made this 53-man roster, didn't play a ton in the regular season, sparingly, but still had really good preseasons from what you saw of them, especially with Bo Braid. Zach Orr might have a lot of confidence in those guys to be able to step up, to be able to replace Ardarius Washington. He feels like he's already got guys in the building like Bo Braid, like Sanusi Kane. He doesn't need to go out and trade for somebody else because you already got those guys here. They already know the system. They already know the teammates. They already know their role. So why go out and trade draft capital for somebody else? And that's kind of where we round this thing out when it comes to Trey Taylor in a possible trade, is maybe Baltimore just doesn't believe that it's worth it. You got to look at the fact that Las Vegas over the offseason has signed a ton of safeties. They did it in free agency, and they even did it after rookie minicamp, where you usually kind of get to see those first-year, second-year players and say, okay, do we have confidence in them going forward? Well, they signed a guy right after rookie minicamp, meaning that maybe Trey Taylor, summer before year 2, isn't showing something that gives him much confidence. So if I had to guess, I'd probably say they don't trade for him. But it's an interesting topic of discussion to have, given the fact that who is in his family? A Baltimore legend, a Mount Rushmore Baltimore Raven. Who knows? Maybe that's enough for John Harbaugh to take the shot. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. You can find me at Joey Petersen, at both of those platforms. Covering the Ravens every single day, so go ahead. Those links are in the comments and descriptions. Go ahead and give me a follow. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, Covering the Ravens Daily. We'll be live later today for our Tuesday evening live shows, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll see you there.